house. Big Zeus. It's the people's house. Big Zeus. Pull up to the gate at 1600 on the map. Supposed to be the people's house, I make it like a trap. Marble floors and chandeliers, I'm balling through the wall. Power to the people, yeah, I gotta make that call. Trapping for the team, red and white and blue, that's me. Voices on the block, I'm breaking through, I got the keys. I'm in the lobby, yeah, I'm moving like an OG. Posted in the Oval Office in the executive suite. Signing for the fam, yeah, you know my... Freedom is the
Good
band,
morning.
and I got my chains on. Secret Service watching snipers sitting on the roof. Truth is hitting hard, I bury you inside the booth. Founding father's vision, yeah, I'm flexing with this cash. Big pharma, big tech, turn these dreams to bag. I'm the voice of the hood, trying to come and storm the gates. And balance in my hand, but the system's overweight. They painted white, yeah, but the stains running deep. Promise they selling it, but you know it ain't coming cheap. Legends walk these rooms, Lincoln, MLK, now it's photo ops, power plays all day. I'm trapping for the vote. Yeah, Big Zeus, it's the people's house. Big Zeus, powers in the air. Big Zeus, we knocking on the door. Big Zeus, we wanna hear your soul. Yeah. Who you think they asking for that?
They asking for
that smoke.
Good morning.
For them players, yeah, y'all think this is a joke. Take it back and write the code. 1600, got your soul. Put my portrait on the wall. They staring at me like I'm cold. Greatest story ever told. I will never ever fold. I'm trapping out the West Wing, doing deals all in the dark. Make your dreams come true. All I need is a spark. Red phone ringing, but you don't know who is on my line. Got that Constitution jumping, yeah, you know I'm so divine. No stains on my kicks and the rally outside. And the gates is locked. This power never divides. Spitting for the block. Head busters make them wanna fight. 1600, do it all day, all night. The people's house is a trap. Got the power, get it back. Money talk loud, time to clap. Fight for the keys, that's a fact. It's a rap, I'ma bring it back. In the people's house,
ladies and gentlemen,
powers in the air. Yeah, it's the people's house, we knocking on your door. It's the people's house, we wanna hear your soul.
Hey. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what we came to do. Let's get this this incredible show started. Oh my goodness. Let's get it started, ladies and gentlemen. You know exactly why we are here.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Yes.
Feel like I'm stuck in a cycle.
Happy Monday.
It's like I'm stuck in time. It's like a curse, and I can't escape it. It's like deja vu. It's me, Zeus. It's deja vu. I'm screaming back. It's deja vu when I'm out here flying first class.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go.
Take out the trash. I'm on top of my game, ahead of the class. You can tell that I made it. Look at my grass. Cars in the rings full of gas. I play the game so raw, I won't finish last. Sitting in my living room, screaming how we.
This is how it's supposed to happen when you're rich and famous.
The algorithm turned me to a maniac. I guess we going viral cause my zodiac.
Let's go.
I got all these numbers on my spreadsheet. Benjamin Franklin is my bestie. And if they is my ex, that mean they left me.
What?
They don't get replies if they text me. I say it with my chest cause I mean it. Got a lot of confidence.
Let's go. Good morning, Marissa.
Be the master with a new whip.
Yeah, here it goes.
Take off in a spaceship.
I'll tell you what.
I've gone into Zeus's live in a couple of days.
Oh,
Yes.
Shit was radical.
oh,
Very radical.
It was horrible.
Oh.
I'm like, Zeus has gone way.
oh.
It's like
It
deja
hurts.
vu.
It hurts every time, ladies and gentlemen.
It's like deja vu.
It really does.
It's like deja vu.
Oh my gosh. All right, hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Welcome back to the Thunderdome. Wow, you all are happy to see me. Once again, we are gathered here to do the incredible work necessary to save this great country of ours. All right. I hope you all honestly had a nice, lovely weekend. You took time off to yourselves to, recharge your batteries, because we got to re-engage in terms of, saving our democracy. As you can see, there's so many things happening at once. They're trying to see what they can throw at the wall and see what sticks. And Friday, what happened on Friday with the Supreme Court, that's something we're going to have to deal with as well. But before we get into that, ladies and gentlemen, let's take care of some very important housekeeping items. For those of you who don't know who I am, I go by the name Zeus, or some like to say Triple H. And why do they call me Triple H, ladies and gentlemen? Well, it's quite simple. The first H is because I'm honest, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so honest. I'm the most honest person on social media, hands down. If you don't believe me, ask this knucklehead in the box in the comments section named Vargas. Just ask him how honest I am. He'll tell you. Zeus has hurt my feelings so many times being honest, because that's just what we have to do to save this country of ours, especially when you know what's at stake. The second H, ladies and gentlemen, as well, it's because I'm humble. If I get it wrong, I honestly will be the first to apologize. But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the thing. Just because your feelings are hurt, it doesn't mean I owe you an apology. Just go ask that one knucklehead, Larry. You know who he is. He hangs out on Dame's Live. I'm not going to apologize because I'm giving you information you all gave to me. Heck no. But if I were wrong, I'd apologize, all right? And then the last and the final H, ladies and gentlemen, and Eugene and Nutty know this too. They know this like they know the back of their hand. It is because I am and will always remain, you've guessed it, the most handsome! Now, many of you know exactly what I do. I take knuckleheads like the Revenant in my comments section, right? And we hold them accountable for all of the lies that they continue to repeat on behalf of their dear leader, Donald J. Trump. So what I'll say is this. Are there any Trump supporters out there? Why am I asking? I know you're out there. You're always looking at me, but you're too intimidated. You're too scared to come up here and actually defend it. So what I'll say is this. If you don't want Big Zeus to ruin your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, and everything in between, which you all know is what? Cheez-Its and Diet Coke. Oh, look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Conservative is back. Conservative Democrat. He calls himself conservative Democrat, but he's really just a Trump supporter. But he told me last week you all beat him up in the comment section and he was done with me. But I guess he decided he knows what needs to happen because he's genuinely aware that he's on his way straight to hell. So I'll say this. If you do not want me to hurt your feelings this morning, ladies and gentlemen, do me a huge favor and leave this show right now. And you could go hang out with these fake TikTok hosts. All of them I've destroyed. There's not a TikTok host, honestly, that I've ran across, and by the end of the conversation, they weren't crying. They all come up with these random ways of trying to score victory points. You don't get victory points because you mute me. You don't get victory points because you start asking me a long list of questions that have nothing to do with the main topic. You get victory points because you're being honest with the American people. And every one of these Trump supporters that I talk to, you start asking them questions. Where's the gas at? That's $1.98. What do? They try to flip it and spin it, and then they want to bring up Joe Biden. Where's the cap on the credit card interest at 10%? They're going to bring up Barack Obama. When is he going to release the Epstein files? Why didn't Joe Biden do it? All of these things just show that they don't know what they're doing, and these are the most incompetent people. Get this. You have an incompetent president and incompetent TikTok creators. This is what we're dealing with in America. So I'll say this. If you don't want me to expose you to the people, leave this show right now because it's going to get very, very uncomfortable. All right, I promise you it will. But get this. You don't got to take my word for it. Listen to your leader.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too.
3 shocking reasons.
But if you're not happy, you can leave.
All right. And so with that, the doors to the Thunderdome, they've officially closed. I, Zeus, Triple H, take no responsibility for where the sparks go because the goal here is to get to the truth. And sometimes when you're engaged in battles like this, there's going to be incoming. So I'm just going to get that out there. But those of you, you know my heart. You know what this is all about. We got to save this great country of ours. Now, the first thing that we need to address is the elephant in the room. We went through another weekend. And I just want to say this. My thoughts, my heart goes out to the folks in Idaho, because that's my home state, but I didn't live up north. Northern Idaho is home to a lot of far-right militias. I was down south near the capital, all right? But I know Idaho like I know the back of my hands. And yesterday, Ladies and gentlemen, we all heard the devastating news that a suspect, they called them, lured firefighters into the mountains. He started a fire. He lured them into the mountains and then started picking them off. And I said, this is just a pure act of evil. And I do not want to politicize this at all. My heart really genuinely does go out to the victims, because I understand this too. Even in a red state, there's a lot of good people out there. All right. And so, but I'll say this. Did Idaho vote for Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen? And then now I have to go into the politics of it. And the reason, because a lot of you might think that I'm being heartless. I go on to X, and because I got to monitor, because I'm thinking to myself, who did this? Have they released the name of the suspect yet? Have they released the name of the suspect yet? I'm just trying to double check. Have they released the name of the suspect? I couldn't find the name, but has anyone been able to get the name of the suspect yet? I haven't. But this is where I started. Okay, nope. They never do. If it doesn't fit their agenda, if it doesn't fit their narrative, they tend to not release the suspect. But as a brother in America, a black man in America, I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, if that would have been a brother or an immigrant that did that, we all know Donald Trump at the White House would have gone onto social media and held a press conference and said, you see what I'm saying? We got to get these people out of the country. So the fact that they haven't done that, you got to use some deductive reasoning, right? And I said, we acknowledge that these are the people, this state went towards Donald Trump. So I said, okay, from what I know so far, we saw what happened in Minnesota, right? They tried to blame it on the Democrats, but it wasn't the Democrats. It was them. Remember the two things that happened to Trump, the things that they said happened, the attempts on his life. They tried to say it was the Democrats, but it wasn't the Democrats. None of these incidences can be tied to the Democrats. The only thing they have on the Democrats are these peaceful protests that are going on in LA, and then they bring the Marines and the National Guard. You can only get the Democrats for trying to peacefully protest. And you can get the Democrats on trying to uphold the rule of law and the Constitution, right? But Democrats didn't go to the Capitol on January 6th. No, we didn't do that. How many people have seen Democrats cram themselves into the back of U-Haul trucks? How many people have seen this? Because I've seen Trump supporters cram themselves into the back of a U-Haul truck. Well, why don't you just fly? Well, I can't afford any money to fly to Washington, D.C. on January 6th. Well, how can we get there? Well, get this. U-Haul has a special. You could get a whole big old truck, $20 a day, limited miles. What? We could do that? Yeah. And so you get these Trump supporters. You know who I'm talking about, the Boogaloo Boys, the Proud Boys, right? Oath Keepers. These are the folks that are up in the hills in northern Idaho. They got in the back of the truck and went to the Capitol on January 6th. And so I know it's not a Democrat. I just had this feeling, but all over X, they're saying it's a Democrat. And so what I'll do is this. No disrespect to the true victims out there, because you're not really in this. But what I'm about to do, it has to be done, because we're sticking to politics right now. And I got to shut down the lies on X. For everyone out there that thinks what's happening in Idaho and Minnesota to the president and all these other places is because of the rhetoric of the Democrats, newsflash, the Democrats aren't in control right now. Remember, Biden is incompetent. You all say the blue cult, but you haven't been able to give us an answer. Who was the cult leader of the Democrats? Yeah, you remember, you all see all your lies. They're starting to be revealed as not even possibly part of reality. If you're going to say the Democrats have a cult leader, you have to point to him. And you can't point to him, but we can point to your cult leader. And you know who that is? It's Donald Trump. Yeah, he's the one going around stoking fear and spewing hatred and stuff like that into your minds and causing you to act out in ways that don't truly reflect those so-called Christian values. And so what I'm going to do is this. Zeus, why are you turning up the heat in the lake of fire? Well, because it happened on Sunday. And I know a lot of folks went to church on Sunday, but guess what? There was a MAGA demon in the wilderness in Idaho, and they didn't go to church. And I promise you, when this all comes out, they're going to find out this person loved Donald Trump. So what we're going to do is cast judgment upon them. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and send this MAGA demon in the wilderness in the mountains in Idaho. Let's go ahead and send this MAGA demon where they belong, straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
W Zeus. But I'll stand corrected. If it's not a MAGA demon, I'll apologize to each and every single one of you on my show. If it's not a MAGA demon, but I'm going to need undeniable proof that this isn't a MAGA demon, because I refuse to believe someone from the LGBTQ plus community, or even Blagga. I don't think Blagga would go into the mountains up in northern Idaho and do anything like this, because most of the people who are Blagga, they can't even afford it. W Zeus. So who is it? Who is it? If it's Blagga, I will apologize. If it's Blagga, I'll even apologize. But I think I know who these folks are. I got a general idea who they are, I should say. Now, the next thing we need to get into, ladies and gentlemen, is we have the most incompetent president ever known to mankind. Did you all watch this ridiculous Fox News thing he did with Maria Bartiromo, right? He's doing this while at the same time trying to pass this so-called big, beautiful bill. I don't want to say big, beautiful bill. I really don't. But I understand how, if you don't call it that, there's a group of people in our country that if you call it like the big BS bill or the big nasty bill, they're going to think you're talking about something completely different. And then Donald Trump, he might win this because they're going to always say, well, Trump wasn't talking about that. He is talking about the big, beautiful bill. So I'm going to refer to it as the big, beautiful bill, only because I have to make sure that I change the narrative that Donald Trump is trying to, create by calling it the big, beautiful bill. But personally speaking, this is the most evil bill I've ever seen come from a White House in my life. You just have to ask yourself, why is he lifting sanctions on Russia? You didn't know this, but he's lifting sanctions on Russia and then turning around and placing all kinds of sanctions on the American people with this big, disgusting bill. Ladies and gentlemen, I've never seen anything like this, and we'll get into that in just a split second. All right, but what I want to do is point out some of the things that show either Donald Trump is like Gavin Newsom said, stone cold liar, or he's clearly incompetent. We're going to start with his Fox News interview, and I want to get to the realities. We all watched him and Pete Kegsbreath leak their secret attack plans. We all saw them leak the secret attack plans for attacking Iran. So after they leaked the attack plans, they did what they did. Then they turned around and said, it's been obliterated. That was the word of the week last week, obliterated. Go look it up. Donald Trump says he created it. And he said they're never going to be able to enrich, that stuff anymore. I've stopped the program. We all knew it was a lie. But here we go again. Maria, she's on Fox News. And once again, to you Trump supporters, you gotta listen. This is Fox News. This isn't CNN, all right? And what we're gonna do is point out these lies. So let's start with the damage assessment.
And we wanted to work out also for Iran. They were beaten up, and so was Israel. In all fairness, they were both very tight. 12-day war. That was an intensive war. But the thing that I wanted to do on your show years ago, or 25 years, we've been doing your show a long time, and nobody like you. But you look back at the early interviews, I would say Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. They've wanted this for years, and they were weeks away from getting it.
How long were they away from getting it, according to Trump? Weeks. I want you to keep that in mind, MAGA. They were weeks away from getting it.
And those pilots went in there with those beautiful planes and the most sophisticated bombs anywhere in the world. Think of it, they can go 30 stories deep into granite. Who would think it's even possible? And they did obliterate it, it turned out. Then we had to suffer the fake news, where the fake news in CNN and the New York Times was saying, well, maybe it wasn't as good as Trump said. Maybe it wasn't totally obliterated, but it was destroyed, but not just horrible. And I could see it happening.
So he says it was obliterated. It was destroyed, right? Now, we're going to go through this a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. This is a statement from Rafael Mariano Grossi, the IAEA Director General, on Face the Nation. And it seems that he has a different take on what really happened, all right? And so this is going to be another example of why we got to send Donald J. Trump straight to the lake of fire, because he's lying to us. The facility may have been obliterated, but their program wasn't.
Right. Director General Rafael Mariano Grossi, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much,
Here
Margaret.
goes.
Good to talk to you again.
Director General, there is so much happening. I'm hoping you can walk us through what you know. Iran's foreign minister has said that the damage to their nuclear facilities from the U.S. bombing is significant and serious. We know Israel has also killed a number of top Iranian nuclear scientists. What exactly is Iran's capability at this moment?
Well, yes, and I think you can pick and choose any adjective to characterize this, but you will see that there is an agreement in describing this as a very serious level of damage. It can be, described in different ways, but it's clear that what happened, in particular in Fordow, Natanz, Isfahan, where Iran used to have and still has to some degree capabilities in terms of treatment, conversion, and enrichment of uranium.
Oh, so the damage is significant, but they still have capabilities. Wow, MAGA. So it's almost like your dear leader is either lying to you or he's incompetent. And think about it. All those billions of dollars. Where's Larry at? Dame, where's Larry at? Because Larry said, we'll see, when I asked him, was it a successful mission? Remember? We'll see. Well, if these folks were supposed, according to Trump, they were weeks away and we stopped them. But now the assessments are starting to come out and they're saying they still have the capabilities, which still means they're still weeks away, which also means we've wasted billions of dollars. We've placed the lives of our men and women in uniform at risk. In this country, as far as I'm concerned, we don't feel safer anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, let's warm up the lake of fire, because this is what we got to do. We got to cast judgment where it's needed. For all of you who still believe Donald Trump's so-called war, 12-day, he calls it a 12-day war, right? You think it was a success? Well, how is it a success when we're back to where we started? As a matter of fact, we're a lot worse. Yeah, it doesn't make sense, right? Ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. Let's send these folks straight to hell. Oh my gosh. Hold on a second. We're having some technical error, but bear with me. All right. Now, what do we need to do next, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, I know what I want to do. We need to also get Donald Trump to weigh in on immigration, all right? Because this seems to be a hot topic. And I haven't talked much about immigration because I have people in here. These are some crybabies. Zeus, you know who he is. Is it Alter Ego? Alter Ego, he hates it when I lean into the immigration stuff because he says, oh, you need to talk about other things, Zeus, besides immigration. You're okay, Alter Ego. Well, I've done it for a second, but guess what? I'm back on Immigration W Zeus. So if you Jesus Christ. Oh, he's just racist about it. See, Alter Ego, and I'm glad you said that because that's and if you've been following me, Alter Ego, you know what I am. I support DEI initiatives. That includes anti-racism. But here's the thing: if you get into the mud with the pigs, you're gonna get dirty, right? And so what we're dealing with is the fact that Donald Trump and his administration have done what they've done. They've opened up the jar in terms of racism. So once the jar is open and you get involved, guess what? There's going to be these things happening. And that's why I say I take no responsibility in the Thunderdome when these sparks start flying, because in order for me to rid this situation of the cancer, because it's like a cancer, you got to get a little dirty. And so, yeah, there's going to be elements of the things that I say that might come across and sound racist. But I'll say this: if you genuinely knew me and you understood me, you know I don't support and condone racism. The thing is, I'm embarrassed a lot of times that I even have to talk about this. And it's not just me, but these are all the people that come up here. You know, you all like to say Zeus has white saviors. And I thought about that. And initially, you know, I used to say, oh, that's bad. But then I thought about it and I said, you know what? A white savior is simply what they call an ally. It's an ally. W Zeus. And if you took the training in DEI, you would understand that. And so all your little insults about white saviors and stuff like that, they don't bother me. And then to the people who get called white savior, I just want to give you a round of applause, because it's like you're trying to help out, and then you got people turning against you that need to help. And it's the most bizarre thing. But you know what? You'll always have my love and support. And I'll just say, keep on doing the wonderful work, because we need more. We need more white saviors now that I think about it. And so, yeah, shout out to all my white saviors. But let's not get distracted. Let's go and lean into this immigration situation Donald Trump has created. Fox News, Maria, she's trying to get him to see the truth and understand, like, hey, bro, you're going way too hard, especially on the farmers. Relax. All right? But he doesn't get it. He can't take a clue, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get this going, ladies and gentlemen. All right, here we go. Let's see.
I feel so confident.
Hold on. We got to pay the bills. Hold on. But we're going to get this going, and then we're going to get straight to judgment. All right. So Alter Ego, do me a favor, Alter Ego. When you feel like it's getting a little too racist, just raise your hand. And I only want you to do it when Donald Trump is talking. If I'm talking, it's not racist. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Hold on. They do this thing with this. All right. Here we go.
Ease up on, taking in people who are working, hardworking, like in farms and hotels.
I don't back away. What I do I cherish our farmers. And when we go into a farm and we take away people that have been working there for 15 and 20 years, who are good, who possibly came in incorrectly, and what we're going to do is we're going to do something for farmers where we can let the farmer sort of be in charge. The farmer knows he's not going to hire a murderer. But when you go into a farm and he's had somebody working with him for 9 years doing this kind of work, which is hard work to do, and a lot of people aren't going to do it, and you end up destroying a farmer because you took all the people away, it's a problem. I'm on both sides of the thing.
He said he's on both sides of the issue. He's on both sides of the thing. How can you be on both sides of this? I know. See, and you Trump supporters, this is why I have to slow him down, because he's just rambling. And if you don't listen to him, you'll think this man is very confident and intelligent. How are you on both sides of this?
Strongest immigration guy that there's ever been, but I'm also the strongest farmer guy that there's ever been. And that includes also hotels and, places where people work, a certain group of people work. So we're working on it right now. We're going to work it so that some kind of a temporary pass where people pay taxes, where the farmer can have a little control as opposed to you walk in and take everybody away.
So we're going to create a program, according to Trump, where the farmer can, bring people into the country who aren't really citizens. Think about this, MAGA. You got to think about this and have a little control over them. How is that America first? My question is this. Why not just tell the farmers, Trump, that you got all these lazy Trump supporters out here on TikTok that need to get jobs, and then make them go work on the farm, especially Blagga? How many of y'all want to see Blagga? And now I might be doing what Alter Ego says is being racist. How many of y'all want to see Blagga on the farm, getting that whip cracked on their back? Me? All right, me too. W Zeus. Because, and the reason, and again, it's not racist. What I'm doing is I'm highlighting the real talk, the conversation that Blagga likes to say. They say, oh, we've been denied opportunities, Zeus, because the immigrants are taking our jobs. Well, here's your shot. Get your special behinds, Blagga, out there on those farms right now and show us all what real work is about. And don't ask what the pay is. Do it because you love the country, right? W Zeus. And I promise you they won't do it.
But no, I want, if the criminals are going out of this country.
Right, you said it from the beginning, you wanted to first focus on the criminal, but I'm wondering if this change in giving people a pass is a response to the critics who said the execution was a little clumsy.
Oh, so the execution perhaps was a little clumsy. Okay. Now watch how Donald Trump got triggered. Because Maria, how are you going to say that me sending ICE agents out there with masks on, and now there's reports that people are impersonating these people. They're not really ICE, but now it's just basically all hell's broken loose. I've got the Marines out there and all. How are you going to say that's clumsy, Maria? You've hurt my feelings.
They were afraid to run into ICE. They said, look, if you give a quota to somebody and say, go get me 600 who are here, we'll come back with 600 people, even if it's not the right 600.
So the execution was unbelievable because you have no people coming through our border anymore. Right. That's the order of the execution. So it wasn't clumsy. What was clumsy is the fact that they allowed millions and millions of people to pour into our country. Take a look at some of the scenes. It's on your show all the time. Here it is. Where thousands of people are trying to bust through a wall. They literally break down walls. There's so many people. And there are thousands of people, and they have no idea who those people are. This, to me, is the worst part of Biden. The worst thing he did was the...
Ladies and gentlemen, now he's brought Joe Biden in, and we don't need to go any further into that. We'll just get straight to judgment. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to do is we got to send the MAGA demon straight to hell. We're going to send the MAGA demon straight to hell because guess what? It was, as Maria put it, clumsy, but I'll say it is this. It's flat out evil what Donald J. Trump has done. And he's not on both sides of the issue. And we all know this, but I know there's a support is out there. There, hold on. Jesus. There's a support is who's out there. Donald Trump is truly on the both sides of this issue. And so what we'll do is we'll warm up the lake of fire for all of you who continue to support Donald J. Trump, knowing that this stuff makes absolutely no sense. This guy's totally incompetent because if he's not, he's a stone cold liar like Gavin Newsom says. So guess what I need you to do? Do me a huge favor and go straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
W Zeus, ladies and gentlemen. W Zeus. All Hold on. All right. Let's move it along. And the next thing that I need to cover is so he starts talking about trade deals, all right? And this to me, this is probably one of the most triggering moments, ladies and gentlemen, because it turns out that Donald Trump does not know who the Prime Minister of Japan is. Is this what's going on? And he calls, and instead of just saying the Prime Minister's name, he refers to them as Mr. Japan, which is kind of bizarre.
I thought I just said it. You ready?
You're going to send letters.
I'm going to send letters.
Hold on.
That's the end. We're forced to go back because at 145% tariff, Walmart, nobody wanted their product. And that caused a big problem for China. And then I helped China. So by reducing it.
We still don't know. We don't have the clarity on what you're going to do with these expiration of these pauses. July 9th?
No, I thought I just said it. I thought I just said it. You ready?
You're going to send letters.
I'm going to send letters. That's the end of the trade deal. I could send one to Japan. Dear Mr. Japan, here's the story.
What? Dear Mr. Let me go ahead and do that again because I know MAGA doesn't think we heard what we heard, but we'll play this again, ladies and gentlemen.
July 9th?
No, I thought I just said it. I thought I just said it. You ready?
You're going to send letters.
I'm going to send letters. That's the end of the trade deal. I could send one to Japan. Dear Mr. Japan, here's the story. You're going to pay a 25% tariff on your cars, So we give Japan no cars. They won't take our cars, right?
The goal is...
So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask you, Trump supporters, if any of you could y'all please come up here and tell me and everyone else who Mr. Japan is? because this is a sign of obviously serious cognitive issues. You want to get on Joe Biden and talk about all of his so-called cognitive issues, but then you put this 79 years old. He's 79, ladies and gentlemen. He's babbling. He doesn't know who the prime minister of Japan is, but he claims to be the leader of the free world. I've never seen anything like this. This is sheer incompetence. MAGA, where are you at now, MAGA? Defend this nonsense, please. I would love to hear it, but guess what? You won't do it. So guess what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen? And this is why I say God's judgment is truly upon this nation by virtue of Donald J. Trump and his supporters. For all of you Trump supporters who like to try to say Joe Biden was, he was incompetent, what do you have to say now about Mr. Japan? You don't have anything to say, right, ladies and gentlemen? Let's send them straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
W Zeus. Now, the next thing I'm going to cover is, Maria, I don't know what got into her, but she's helping Trump supporters understand the damage Donald Trump has done. And she's asking some questions that I think are, to me, I don't care too much for Maria, but these are things that are actually happening. And I believe she's asking these questions because businesses all over the country, they are experiencing the impact of these so-called trade deals and the tariffs and stuff. And she's got to actually, she's friends with these business partners and stuff. So she's got to try to bring it to Donald Trump's attention. Like, hey, you want to relax? So she asked him about layoffs. All right. As a result of his trade. And let's just listen to how he responds to the question about the layoffs.
Millions of their cars into the United States. It's not fair. And I explained that to Japan, and they understand it. And we have a big deficit with Japan, and they understand that too. Now, we have oil. They could take a lot of oil. They could take a lot of other things. But basically, and I'm for doing it right now, we send letters out to all of the countries explaining to them, we'll look at the deficit we have or whatever it is with the country. We'll look at how a country treats us. Are they good? Are they not so good? Some countries, we don't care. We'll just send a high number out. But we're going to be sending letters out starting pretty soon.
Okay.
No, we don't have to meet. We understand. We have all the numbers. Listen, what we're going to do is we're going to send, and we're going to say, congratulations, we're allowing you to shop in the United States of America.
It's coming up. Bear with me.
A 25% tariff, or a 35%, or 50%, or 10%.
I'll tell you what the U.S. automakers are worried about. They don't want Japan and Korea to have a lower tariff if you do a deal with them than the U.S. automakers are paying.
Well, the U.S. automakers are going to be so busy selling cars in the U.S., they're not going to even have to worry about it. But that won't happen. Because I set a tariff. Let's say I take a certain country and I set a tariff at 25 and they're charging 35 or 40. I'll raise the tariff to 35 or 40. And they'll come down.
I want to ask you about AI because there are a couple of companies that are announcing layoffs. They're actually cutting people. Some of these companies are blaming tariffs. Some of these companies are blaming a consumer slowdown, and other people are blaming AI. Okay, you've got Procter & Gamble.
Tariffs is what's bringing the companies in. We have auto companies building plants where they wouldn't have built here in 100 years. We have more investment in the United States right now than we've ever had before. Think of it. Yeah.
So she brought up the fact, ladies and gentlemen, that tariffs are leading to layoffs. I've seen MAGA businesses out here literally faltering. And I'll be honest with you. I go to this one MAGA business and they voted for Trump. They told me while Biden was in office, they said, Zeus, Biden is nothing but a waste of skin, because this is how disrespectful they are. How's business going? I go over there. How's business going? Oh, it's ugly. Oh, he put these tariffs. There's no way I could stay in business with these 50% tariffs. I've had to let so-and-so go. I had to let these people go. And guess what? The relationship is fracturing. So when he gets up here and he tries to act like his supporters aren't suffering, MAGA, this is when I'm asking you to really dig deep within yourselves and ask yourselves, when is it going to be too much for you. All right. And I see people getting triggered about me in the way that I'm running my show. Did you not hear what I said?
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave.
Bald.
If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time,
that's you,
very
bald.
simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
W. Zeus. Ladies and gentlemen, what's so bizarre is the Trump supporters that are in my chat, they won't come up, number one, because they know I got a clip for them to prove what Donald Trump said is true, that supports what I say. So they don't want to deal with that reality. But then number two, they should be happy because they won the election, but obviously they're not happy. So they're totally in shambles. MAGA right now. You see it happening right now with just what's happening with this so-called big, beautiful bill. That's a thing right there. If that passes, MAGA, you do not win. And let me repeat myself, MAGA. If that big, beautiful bill passes, you don't win. Do you understand that? All right. And so either way it goes, we win. W. Zeus. And I say, come on up here and defend your dear leader. They refuse to do it. So do me a favor. Just sit your special behinds down and listen to this special broadcast. If you're upset, you got to come to this conclusion. You're upset because Zeus is playing things your dear leader says. That's all I'm doing. I'm playing information that your dear leader has said. And then I'm helping you see that it doesn't make sense and that he's lying. And you're getting upset with me. That's crazy. Right? Any other circumstance, you would want to see the evidence. So why now all of a sudden you don't want to see the evidence? W. Karma. So he doesn't want to take any accountability for those so-called layoffs, ladies and gentlemen. And this is what I'm trying to tell you, Trump supporters. At a certain point, you gotta wake up and face the music. All right. So now
I think he's a wonderful guy. I haven't spoken
the
to
last
much
thing I'm going to talk about is this relationship with Elon Musk. She asked him, when was the last time you talked to Elon? And to me, this is the big glaring elephant in the room. Just listen to his response.
I think Elon is a wonderful guy, and I know he's going to do well always. He's a smart guy, and he actually went and campaigned with me, and this and that. But he got a little bit upset, and that wasn't appropriate.
Why did he get upset? He just wasn't getting what he wanted?
Look, the electric vehicle mandate, the EV mandate is a tough thing for him, I would think. I don't want everybody to have an electric car. I campaigned on, you have choice. If you want a gasoline powered, if you want a hybrid, if you want to...
One thing I'll say is this. I can tell Donald Trump is very afraid of Elon Musk because he's guarded about what he says. Normally, when he feels like he has no reason to be fearful of you, you're a radical left, Marxist, communist, right? He got all that smoke. But I'm watching this and I'm like, no. She asked you a very clear question. Why are you not talking to Elon Musk? What's the issue? Why don't he just say, oh, because he lied on me and said I was in the Epstein files? That would have been me. We're no longer friends. You can't accuse me of being in the Epstein files, bro, and then think all of a sudden we're going to be cool. That would have been, to me, the appropriate response from Donald Trump. But it's his inability to do that, ladies and gentlemen, which leads me to believe that most likely what Elon said was correct. I mean, she's giving him a lot of room to say it.
I love the electric. I love his cars. I think he's fantastic. But not everybody should have that, and not everybody wants that. And Biden, who's so stupid, he said everybody has to have an electric car by what, 2030? Mm-hmm. Okay. I think he said by 2030.
So I'm going to stop right there, and we're going to get straight to judgment. MAGA, you have your answers. For all of you out there who think your dear leader isn't tied to the Epstein files, you have your answers. He could have totally blasted Elon. He could have said, no, it's actually Elon that is in those files. But because he's, obviously afraid, just like he's afraid of Putin, right? Because you know what Putin got on him, all right? We're seeing it in record time, MAGA, that once again, you're not really Christians. Because if you did, you would be out here trying to protect the children from folks like him, right? You wouldn't have voted for folks like him. So what I'm going to do is this, ladies and gentlemen, let's warm up this lake of fire one last time. And I want to thank you all for enduring this with me, but there's a lot of judgment this morning. Let's go ahead and send these Trump supporters who are hell-bent on supporting Donald J. Trump, one of the most corrupt, incompetent, crooked presidents ever. And despite the fact they know all of this information, especially the information Elon gave, they still support him. Let's send them straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA Daily.
W Zeus. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes my monologue this morning. And now it is time for me to go out into the field and do some field work before I get up out of here. And I like to start it off every show, giving a Trump supporter the opportunity of a lifetime to prove us all wrong, right? Because all I've done is played information that your dear leader has said. And so if you're a Trump supporter, by all means, please send a guest request. And what we'll do is we'll bring you right on up here. W Zena, W Miss Dot. Do I have any Trump supporters right now that are willing to walk away from the cult today? You saw what happened to Tom Tillis right there, right? He understood yesterday, and I hope he sticks to it and doesn't get pressured into flipping and doing all that other stuff, because people like to pretend like they're laying on their bellies, laying on their back, and their belly is up. They like to pretend like that just to get the heat off him. But if he's genuinely serious, MAGA, that's the path forward. You got to be willing to risk life, liberty, and freedom to walk away from this cult that you've found yourselves in. And you got to do it now. You really do got to do it right now while you still have, the ability to think for yourself. Yeah, there's going to be some collateral damage. Yeah, you're going to have to pay the price, because there has to be some sort of consequences for allowing Donald J. Trump to use you as a vessel of transgression, right? And so put a 1 in the chat if you are a Trump supporter, and what we'll do is we'll try to get you in and out as quick as possible. It doesn't take long. If you really believe what you believe, it doesn't take long. All right, to get up here and express why you still believe these lies, despite the fact that evidence shows otherwise. Let me look into the chat. Send the orange felon to, what did you say, to Alligator Alcatraz? Yeah, I know about that. Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right, look at this, ladies and gentlemen. We have my good friend Moo the Tuxedo Cat. Welcome back, champ. Good morning. How are you doing?
What's going on, man?
Oh, you shaved. Okay. Oh, you shaved. Okay. Move. Okay.
I'm actually here to collect an obligation from you and the other establishment Democrats in the chat right now. I want to ensure that you're all going to support the Democratic nominee for mayor in New York, because I see representatives like Kathy Hochul, the cult leader of the establishment Democrats, Hakeem Jeffries, disparaging a progressive, a man who wants to freeze rents for poor New Yorkers because of their large corporate donors are telling them that he's no good. I'd also like to know why the establishment Democrats are so keen on endorsing a serial essayer like Cuomo. Why is that? Why do you guys disparage Trump for being a serial essayer, but yet you'll allow Andrew Cuomo to run on your ticket, and you'll disparage the progressive in favor of a serial essayer?
Well, I'm glad that you came back, and I thought about this. Yeah. This is tough because I support Mondani, all right. But I also think that we have to be very strategic. The victory that he got was, to me, pretty impressive, and
over 7%, right?
Yeah. It's very impressive, and it's showing that the Democrats have a wider range of options to deal with this administration. And
well, really, what it's showing me is people are tired of establishment Democrats, and that you guys really need to get out of the way and let the progressives do their thing, right? Stop disparaging that man.
Can I? I'm not disparaging him. That's not my style. But can I say this?
Well, I got a list of names who are. Let's see: Laura Gillen, Tom Sozzi, Richie Torres.
But don't you think?
Kathy Hochul?
But don't you think in order to win, you need numbers? We got it.
I think in order to win, the establishment Democrats who have failed us the past 50 years need to step to the side and allow progressives who have a plan for this country to do what they need to do.
Well, and I gotta be on, and one of the things I appreciate about you, Moo, is you're willing to say things that you believe in, right? And I think that within the Democrat Party, there should be room for all people who believe in whatever they believe in, right, to do this. As far as I'm concerned, if you're checking that box blue, we can have a serious conversation, right? My thing is this: why do the folks who call themselves very progressive tend to make it seem like all Democrats are bad? Some of the Democrats, I should say. Like, I don't like Cuomo. I don't like him. You get what I'm saying?
Well,
I'm going to check that
what
box
I would say
blue.
is it gives us a bad impression. It gives the progressive wing of your party a bad impression when you all stand behind a serial essayer, maybe not you in particular, but the DNC. Let's say the DNC is standing behind a serial essayer instead of a guy who wants to freeze rents for poor people in New York, right?
That's a noble cause. That's a noble cause.
And that looks real bad on the party, doesn't it?
Well, how?
So you guys have critiqued Donald Trump for the past 10 years for being a serial essayer, and yet you have a serial essayer on your ticket for mayor of New York.
You keep saying
shunned in disgrace.
You said you guys, but I just said to you I didn't support Cuomo, and I'm going to vote Democrat. So
I'm saying the DNC.
Well, I don't represent. Do you believe I'm paid by the DNC? Because I'm not.
No, but I believe you endorse a lot of establishment candidates who really just need to go home.
I see. All right. Well, I don't know what that means, but I'll say this. I think what we need to have in the progressive, in the Democrat Party, I just look at it like this. Are you checking the box blue or not? Right?
Yeah,
you
and
could
what
call
I'm worried
yourself,
about at this point is the Democrats have done such a poor job over the past 50 years, and that Donald Trump was able to beat them twice. At this point, I'm really worried that the establishment Democrats still have absolutely no plan at this point, right? Because every time I see Hakeem Jeffries on TV, he's mumbling like a fool and doesn't say anything of substance. And then I have a lot of establishment Democrats on here telling me what a good politician he is. So do you happen to know what Hakeem Jeffries' plan is to save this country or lower our dependency on treasury bonds?
I honestly, Moo, I don't. But I don't even know.
Okay.
I don't even know what the progressive plan is either, right? And I think
sure. So one of our plans
and remember
is community
last time,
land trusts.
Remember
community
last
land
time.
Trusts.
Remember last time I asked you, what is the plan to address these conflicts abroad, right? And I didn't get an answer.
Yeah.
So
no, I did. I gave you an answer. It's a two-state solution. You didn't want.
No,
to
I
listen.
wasn't. I
You were
wasn't
too busy listening to Val mumble his mouth, right?
I wasn't specifically talking about that, but you have other countries that are involved in various conflicts. The situation with Russia and Ukraine. You know, I want to know what the issue. What is the plan for immigration? How are you going to solve that?
Sure.
And again, hold on, Moo.
I've given you answers to all these questions you're asking. You don't
now,
listen, right?
Moo. Well, obviously, there's a host and then there's a guest. Which one are you?
Well, you should have listened to the answers I gave you before. It shows.
Well,
me
I
you're
can't
not
even
listening
talk to
your
you.
guest.
I can't even talk to you.
Well,
and I'm
how
a
about you
Democrat.
ask me
I'm
one
a
question
Democrat.
at a time, so I can answer them.
I'm a Democrat, and I can't talk to you. So this is what I'm trying to address, Moo. You go around TikTok and you say you don't need anybody to do whatever it is you want to do, and I'm trying to bring you back to
I have
earth.
plenty of people with me. I have plenty of people with me. Don't worry about that.
Okay, but you're ignoring the reality that politics is about numbers.
No, I'm ignoring the reality that establishment Democrats are coming out against the progressive who beat you fair and square in New York, right? We beat you, and here you are. You guys are coming out to disparage the candidate who actually has a plan for New York in favor of an essayer. That's what I see right now.
Well, Moo,
what are our plans for Israel? A two-state solution.
Moo, why not just
solution?
Moo, why not just come up here and make your case on why your candidate is the best option? And
sure,
not engage in this. Hold on.
Sure, I'll make my. You're asking
Can I finish? Can I finish, bro? Again,
it'd be nice if I could.
Well, like I said, how about this? We'll flip it. You can host your live, and I'll come up and then deal with your barrage of questions. But you know what I do? I run a show. We only got a certain amount of time. Obviously, you know, you came up here and you lit a match, and you got people who are going to want to push back on the things you're saying. I am here simply to facilitate the discussion. So I do totally appreciate that you're bringing up something you're very, very passionate about, because this is why I support the Democrat platform for the most part, right? I don't believe that every candidate on the ticket is the right candidate, but I do think this move. I do think at a certain point we have to be very serious about winning, because this is the issue.
I think we do too, which
The-
is why
hold on,
establishment Democrats need to leave.
hold
Y'all
on.
can't win in New York anymore.
Hold on,
Right?
Moo. And the virtue signaling, while I totally get it, in some cases it's very harmful to us getting the progress we need. Do you understand what I mean? Because
No, and I'm not here
okay,
to,
so
I'm
let's
not here
let's
to
unpack
unite
that.
with,
Let's unpack that. Let's unpack that.
establishment
Moo.
Democrats. Okay.
Let's unpack that.
No, thanks.
Moo, let's unpack that. What I meant, but because I can only speak for myself, the virtue signaling. This idea that you got to do whatever I say do, or you're a terrible person, that's going on in the party is alienating a lot of real people.
No,
who want
my-
this.
my
Who want,
virtue
no,
signaling-
Moo. You didn't even address what I said, bro.
Yeah,
You
I'm
just
about
went
to,
straight
but you won't let me.
because you just went
I'm
straight
about
into
to address what you
you
said.
just went into defensive mode. All right. Now, what am I asking
No,
you to
I'm just
acknowledge?
waiting for you to stop talking so I can address what you're telling me.
All right. We'll do this move. We'll do this for a good 5 minutes, and then I'm going to ask that you sit around and allow other people who might not agree with you or agree with you to.
I mean, I'll be in the chat, but I can't stay here. I got to go back to
I
work.
mean, that's kind of the way I was
They
going
can come
to
on
do
my
it.
live if they want to talk to me. although
Okay,
they don't.
5 minutes,
Scared.
Moo. Go, Moo. Let's
Yeah.
go.
5 minutes. Why is my candidate the best? Because he has a progressive agenda that will help New York. He wants to freeze rent prices for poor New Yorkers. He wants free bus admission for the entire city. He's going to do the things that Cuomo and no other establishment Democrat could ever do for you because they're indebted to their large corporate donors. Meanwhile, the DNC is over here trying to demonize this man, disparage this man, because he will give New Yorkers something they've never had, a real mayor. A real mayor who actually cares about the people at this point, right? One who doesn't take massive corporate donations from AIPAC or any other donor. So that's why this candidate is better than any other establishment candidate that will come along. Cuomo hasn't even given up his ballot access yet because the Democrats would rather see Cuomo run as an independent and split the vote and have a Republican win than to see a progressive in power. That's how jacked up the party is right now.
Okay. Now, what is your strategy to win people into this supporting this, right? Because I would imagine you're running into people who might not, they might be hesitant to support all of this. It sounds pretty radical to a lot of folks. How are you winning people over?
Yeah, with policies that corporate Democrats can't give, right? For instance, freezing the rent is a big one. Corporate donors are furious at that, which is why you have corporate Democrats and Republicans coming out against this man, right? Freezing rent is critical. That's a policy that would have won nationwide for Harris had she done such a thing, because people are losing their apartments left and right. Working Americans with 2 jobs can't afford to keep their apartments right now.
Right.
That's how we're going to win.
Interesting. Okay. And so the grassroots movement in terms of winning folks over, what's the plan to grow the base, so to speak? Because I do hear you're saying
we have a massive, so we just organized, do you know what the No Kings rally was, which was organized by Indivisible, which is a progressive grassroots movement? We got 5 million people.
Okay.
How many did y'all get at y'all rallies?
What rallies?
The establishment. Exactly, what rallies? Yeah. Oh, there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do.
So
Establishment
you're
Democrats,
saying
there's nothing we can do.
So let me ask you this, Moo. Are you saying you're done with Democrats?
No, I'm done with establishment Democrats, and I'm here for y'all. I'm coming after y'all. Not physically, not violently, but politically, debate-wise. I'm coming after y'all. Because y'all are on here spewing this nonsense against progressives, bullying progressives. I'm done watching y'all do that. Especially people like Val, Jem. I'm on your asses. I'm coming after y'all. I'm not going to sit here and watch you guys bully progressives across this platform anymore. Y'all are done.
Okay. Well, Moo, here's my assessment.
Mishi, too, by the way. She's done, too.
Okay. Here's my assessment, Moo. I think that before politics, we got to address the person. And I don't think a lot of
Oh
people.
no! Don't make this
hold on,
about me. This is about y'all. Don't make it about me.
Moo,
It's not going to be about me.
moo. I gave you the liberty to say what you said, and I didn't interrupt you.
Don't make this about me because I won't.
No. I'm just pointing out. I'm pointing out to you how I operate. If I give somebody the opportunity, it's not even about politics at this point. It's just about good old fashioned respect. Now, if I give you
what it's about
you
is
can't even mute, bro.
Democrats,
bro,
screwing it up for everyone.
Why can't? So here's the thing: politics aside, why do you struggle to be respectful? I'm not saying you're not right. I'm just saying I sat up here. I said you get 5 minutes. You read off all your stuff. I let you do it, and I didn't interrupt it. My hope and expectation move was
I'm not
that
as
at least
courteous as you.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
not as courteous as you.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I mean, at least you're honest. But to me, that's what drives this. To me, that's what makes it very, very difficult, honestly, to move and side with folks. When someone's being intentionally disrespectful and I'm trying to help them understand they're not being respectful and they still do it, then I feel like, you know what? You might have a good idea, but you're not the right voice.
Oh, I'm not the voice at all. I'm just here to counteract the establishment Democrats on this platform. That's why I'm here.
Well, I get it, Moo.
I'm here to counteract their bullshit.
Okay, well, and then you cursed on my show too. It's like you're canceling out the work. You're canceling out the work that I think needs to be done because you're making it all about you. And this is to me.
You're entitled to your opinion.
Well, you're right. You're right. Well, listen up. I appreciate you coming up here and doing what you do. While I might support some of the ideas that you have, I do think there needs to be a lot more work done in terms of how you're championing those causes.
Don't worry, there's going to be more work done.
Right. And I've never been a fan of just going after people and just saying things just because you think you're right. I've never been.
But that's what's happening.
All right. Well, thank you, Moo. I got to move it on. Yeah. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That's interesting. That's interesting. Wow. I want to say silence MAGA demon, but I don't think that's a MAGA demon. Those are the things that I talk about, ladies and gentlemen. A good idea doesn't sell itself. If you can't sit down with somebody who doesn't believe what you believe without at least trying to be sensible and show us that you have the ability to actually contain yourself, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I'm out. I don't do that. I think if you can't even show people decency, like, okay, when we talk to MAGA, all right, because I've given them so many opportunities, we've given them the fact. But you just can't go around and expect people to go along with you because you're telling them, I said do this and I said do that. This person is doing good things and so you need to do it. I mean, you're trying to turn yourself into a dictator in a way. And I'm like, if I'm not going to take that on the right, why would I take that on the left? W Zeus. And again, all of the wonderful people who get onto my show and they voice their opinions to me, these are also Americans. And so for you to try to alienate other Americans and say, well, I don't need you to do what I'm about to do. But then here's the thing, Moo. If the policy that you're aiming for gets passed, you're going to need those Americans to comply with those policies. So it's the disconnect, right? It's the disconnect. And it's just, to me, those are things that I am very, very concerned about. It's not I have an issue with progressive. I have an issue with folks being disrespectful. And that's why I say a lot of people, if you're not mature enough to talk politics, I would encourage you to do some work on yourself first. All right. Because this isn't an easy thing to do. All right. Now, let me go to the boxes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll start with Diava. All right, and we're going to try to get through as many as I can. So hopefully we can hear from people because I want to hear what they have to say. Good morning, Diava. How are you?
Hi, good morning, Zeus. How are you?
How are you? By the way, excellent live last 2 days ago. I saw it and I said, she's got the juice. Good job.
Thank you.
Yes. What is it you would like to discuss? I don't know. You could talk about what I covered or maybe what Moo was saying or anything else.
Yeah, well, Moo's losing his message with his pompous attitude and his dismissive attitude because most Democrats are establishment Democrats. I'm all for progressives. I'm all for progressives because I think I'm not as center Democratic either.
Right.
But dude, chill out. You can't alienate all the other Democrats in your party, which is how you're going to lose. We have to band together. You may have more progressive ideas, someone else may have more conservative ideas, but we can come together to still win. And your delivery makes people hate you. You are so pompous and arrogant that I was listening to you going, oh my God, this guy's such an a-hole. But so his message is getting completely lost.
Now, did I tell you to say those things? Because I'm concerned that people might think you are I'm twisting your arm and telling you to give him this feedback this way. Am I telling you to do this?
No, of course not. I'm so happy Mamdani won in New York. I think it's fantastic. I think that, he wants to do something for the people of New York, that to actually help the people of New York. We want all of our mayors and governors to do that for us too. However, has he put out a plan on how he's going to freeze rent, how he's going to make everything free? Because the money's got to come from somewhere. And so I think if they just explained what he wanted to do or explained how he's going to do it, bring people on board, I'm very happy. Yeah. That's happening in New York. I'm in Florida. There's not a snowball's chance that anything like that's going to happen in Florida because we have freaking alligator Alcatraz happening down here.
Real stuff, real issues that are going on, and you got to use all your resources to deal with that. I totally get it. But I'll say this as well. Yeah, I listened to and I thought to myself as he won. I said, would he have won if I would have been on TikTok supporting him from the very beginning? I thought about that, right? Because I don't talk about it, but I think there was something to the fact that he kind of was allowed to have that freedom to do his thing, and there wasn't all this additional pressure in terms of what we on the TikTok streets do. So I thought that actually mattered because I think people genuinely made the decision to vote for him, absent of our influence to a certain degree. That's my opinion.
Right, and the people of New York, I mean, that they're an eclectic, different group of people than probably the people that live in Florida. Mm-hmm. People that live in the city are just a different dynamic than people who live in the sticks in Florida.
Yeah.
They uniquely know the challenges that they have in New York. So they voted for what they wanted. And I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think that the DNC should back him. Yeah. I think that they shouldn't back Cuomo either.
Yeah.
And see how I can say that without sounding like a pompous prick, because it's true, but I don't have to be rude about it. Bingo. It's just I don't think that they should be backing Cuomo either. So I think that sometimes the progressives can go so far left that they sound like MAGA.
So I hope
far left.
W Diava, and I hope those who have ears to hear are hearing this feedback and not taking it personal. Seriously, because to me, I'm like, why am I being attacked? I support the guy, but you're beating me up. You're beating me up, bro. And now I'm like, well, if you're going to beat me up and I support him, well, shoot, might as well, maybe I shouldn't have supported him, right? That's kind of where my mind goes. And so I would encourage people out there to understand. And then the other thing is this. Do you think you have to try to bring more people into this or less people? Diava, what do you think?
You have to bring more people in. It's a numbers game.
Yeah.
And that's why, I have a hard time welcoming former MAGA into our side.
Yeah.
But because I'm like, I'm the FAFO, crowd. But, Obama gave a speech back at the Democracy Forum, and he said, we have to make room for those awakening because we need the numbers. We need the people on our side. So we're never going to kumbaya with straight MAGA. It's just never going to happen.
No.
But we have to keep room, keep space for those that are awakening. And the more heinous stuff that happens, and if this big, beautiful bill goes through, there's going to be a lot of people hurting, and people are going to start waking up to, holy crap, we just got played. And so we need the numbers on our side. And so we have to make room for those awakening, the ones that are willing to not only say it, but willing to put action behind it. Start calling their senators, do something, go out and protest with us. Don't just say, I regret my vote. There's got to be some action behind that, behind those words. And then I'll believe you.
Yeah.
But the straight MAGAs, we're never going to kumbaya with.
Bingo.
But we do have to make room for those that are awakening because we need the numbers. And what Moo is doing is not going to bring anyone to our side because he sounds incredibly entitled and pompous. And they already called Democrats elitists anyway, even though we're not. All the billionaires are in Donald Trump's cabinet.
Yeah.
But, they call us the elitists and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Fair enough.
And one other thing I wanted to say from earlier conversation, if you don't mind.
Yeah, please.
Is it Donald Trump and Elon Musk?
Yes.
Okay. Donald Trump sues everyone who's ever crossed his path, said a single word. He posted for the entire world to see that he helped him with the election and that he was on the Epstein files. He put that for the whole world to see. Okay. And Donald Trump would have sued him for defamation if it weren't true.
Boom! WDI. Bingo. So you think that Trump is low key? He's kind of scared of Elon, huh?
Elon has all the goods.
Yeah.
He let Elon into every single department of our government and copy the files and copy everything. You know that man has every bit of freaking dirt that Donald Trump has. And Elon knows it all. And so he is treading so lightly around Elon Musk because Elon Musk could blow his game up in 2 seconds flat if he wanted to.
Tell him, Diava, tell him.
And I hope and pray that on his little copying files spree, he has a copy of those Epstein files that he can release if Trump won't.
Yeah. And I think we're going to get there as soon as short order. Because if this big, beautiful bill passes, and I hate calling it that, but I got to make sure I'm on brand. I think Elon might snap because Donald Trump is doing a number to him on that bill. All right, W. Dance.
Oh, wow. Dance. How cool.
Yeah.
That big beautiful bill is going to. Oh, thank you. Oh my God. Thank
W.
you.
Dance. Dance, you're an amazing person. Thank you so much. Seriously.
That big beautiful bill is doing a number on EVs and the future of green energy.
Yeah.
He's directly giving the middle finger to Elon Musk.
Bingo. I agree. But listen, Diava, we're going to move it on, all right? Because what I'm going to do is there's a lot of people that I think want to say something, and I'm going to try to get through them. This is a bit of a blitz that I'm going to do because normally, I try to just kind of get deep into discussion, but I want to just blitz through these, and I could get up out of here on time, all right?
Sounds good, Bizoos. Have a good day.
All right. W Diava, ladies and gentlemen. No lies detected. All right, let's bring up our next panelist. Hey, Moo, I do hope you're still in the comment section, Moo, seriously, because I want you, just like you forced us to listen to you, I want you to have the maturity to listen to us, all right? Because all of these wonderful and amazing people that you were naming and talking about, including myself, we're free thinkers, Moo. And I've said this to you several times. Look at this, Moo. You see this? You see this, Moo? No strings attached. I am not a hand puppet, but the way you're acting in my box, I'm starting to think, maybe Moo is a hand puppet because you shouldn't be that turned up on a Monday, champ, especially when your guy won. You shouldn't be that turned up. W Dance! All righty then. Okay, all right. Let's do it. Oh yeah, we got a nice packed house this morning. Good morning to beautiful Takesha, my sister. How are you doing?
Good morning, Zeus. How are
Don't
you?
beat me up too much. Now I know you're gonna beat me up. Why did you let Moo up here? All right, but
I'm not gonna beat you up, Zeus, because honestly, this is your, this is your show.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't fool with Moo. When he come on the panel with me, I be quiet and then I drop suddenly because I don't fool with Moo. But let me say this about Moo. I've talked to some progressive Zeus, and I've never in my life talked to one as rude as Moo. His message will get lost because of the delivery in which he gives the message. You cannot have a back and forth with him because he only wants his opinion and what he feels to be forefront. He doesn't care about how other people feel. Now, if Moo want to be all like that, go get on a ballot. Why haven't you got on a ballot, Moo? He says that they organized the No Kings Day. What part did he play in the organizing? Did he get the water bottles ready? Did he come up with the name for the No Kings Day? What are you really doing personally where you can separate yourself from the actual progressive party and be an individual? Because you keep trying to clump us in with the Democrat. You done call everybody name that has come out against this man, but Zeus' name wasn't in that. My name wasn't in that. You want to clump all us in together. Who said we were against the man in New York?
Yeah.
Just because some of the Democrats have come out against him, that doesn't make the collective out against him. Stop doing that.
Yeah.
Now, Zeus, I'm done with Moo, but let me say this right quick.
Talk to him.
And then I'm
him.
going to let you go. Donald Trump said that he obliterated, over there in Iran.
Yeah.
Iran.
Yeah, that's what Nutty does.
Iran.
Yeah, that's what Nutty does.
And he said they will never be able to make a nuclear weapon. That's according to Donald Trump. Thank you, Dan.
W Dance.
Now, Bruce, in all fairness, let me say this because I asked this question on Angie's show and nobody could answer the question. If it's obliterated and they will never be able to make nuclear weapons, why are you trying to come to the table with them to make a deal? If there's nothing to make a deal for, why are you trying to make a deal? If it's been obliterated, there's nothing there. They don't have the capacity to make them anymore. What's the deal about Zeus?
That's a good point.
That's how you know he lying.
Yeah.
That's how you know he lying. If he want to come to the table and make a nuclear deal with Iran, that's how you know Trump is lying.
Yep.
It has not been obliterated. Those people still have their uranium to make what they want to make, and Donald Trump is a liar.
Hey, man. W, Takesha. No lies detected.
That would be just like me. Thank you. That would be just like me getting a divorce and then coming back months later saying I want to make some terms on the divorce that's already over. Y'all gotta stop believing what this man say.
Yeah.
And in that same interview, Zeus,
Talk to him.
they asked him about China, and he said something about, we've been bad to China as well as they've been bad to us. And I'm saying,
I heard him say that.
are you for America or are you for China?
So he's all over the place.
You all over the place.
Yeah. Wow.
But we supposed to put our safety in his hands.
Bingo.
Let's be for real, Zeus.
Hey, man. Tell him, Takesha. Tell him,
So
Takesha.
that's what I wanted to say. Moo ain't important right now. We got bigger things going on than whatever Moo trying to be disrespectful and talk about. We trying to get this man. We trying to get our numbers up so we can go ahead and stop some of this stuff that's going on. Our focus is not you, Moo. Our focus is building and trying to get the Democrats to see you need to come out and vote in local elections, because if you don't, you're going to be messed up. Yeah. Local elections matter.
Amen. W, Takesha. Thank you. And I hope Moo is still here because this is feedback time, champ. I mean, feedback is a gift if you treat it that way. Thank you, Takesha. Seriously. All right. Thank you. Yeah. See, a lot of people, this is a seat that I sit in. It's the throne in Olympus, and it's a tough seat because, there's a lot of times I want to say and do things, but I understand balance. Being measured and balanced is the key. But I hope, Moo, honestly, because like I said, I wouldn't go as far as to act like you can do all of this by yourselves. If you do that, look at what happened, and you want to bring up what happened, you go, well, this is why the Democrats lost. No, Moo, I'll be honest with you. Now that I think about it, part of the reason the Democrats might have lost is because of the infighting, right? And, well, okay, so you're going to separate yourself from the establishment Democrats. All right, well, okay, well, you could do the math. If the establishment Democrats don't vote and support you, Moo, and then you got the folks on the right, and then you got your group, who do you think has the majority? It's not you, W, Zeus. And that's just some quick math that I did. So you got to work on uniting. You got to be a uniter. That's what George Washington, if you know the history of the United States, George Washington, and I'm going to drop this. I have an album called 1600 Pennsylvania coming out. Wait until you hear the State of the Union that I dropped. What we're going to be talking about how is George Washington was all about uniting the states, the Union. All right. He didn't see the fractions, the factions as something that he needed to go ahead and make separate. You got to unite them. And this is what I'm looking for is someone that knows how to keep the country united. You think what Abraham Lincoln had to deal with, you know what I'm talking about. he had to deal with that. And the goal was, yeah, I could make it all about me, Honest Abe, or I could keep this country united. So it's the United States. And please, for the love of God, stop bashing Vice President Kamala Harris. If you do that, I'm all out. I don't care what side of the you bash Vice President Kamala Harris. I'm done talking to you, W. Zeus. That's totally inappropriate and unacceptable given the circumstances she was thrust into. All right, you saw what they did to Joe Biden. Joe Biden, get your behind out of the office, Joe. You're too old. You're too old, Joe. Get out. You did that to him, and then you want to turn around and attack Vice President Kamala Harris. If you do that, I'm going to be honest with anybody. I haven't gotten over it yet, and it's something I'm truly trying to work on. But if you get up in this box and you attack Vice President Kamala Harris, actually, even if you attack Joe Biden, I'm going to move on. W. Zeus. I'm going to leave it alone. All right, I'm going to leave it alone, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Nutty. How are you doing?
Woo. So, Zeus, I'm going to give credit to where credit is due. I'm going to give you credit and say thank you, sir.
For what?
Thank you for bringing Diava and Takesha up before you brought me up.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Because it gave me an opportunity to breathe.
Thank you.
And Wusa.
Yeah.
And just because I got fans out there, let me just go ahead and get this out the way. Iran. There you go, Takesha. Iran. Say it right. Iran. So listen, Zeus.
Yeah.
Diava and Takesha both said it best. This is why we can't break bread with Moo. The reason we can't break bread with him is because he's an idiot. Point blank. There's a couple things that he said about Cuomo. The DNC did not put him on the ballot. Do you know how elections work, sir? You gain signatures to get on the ballot. People signed for him to get on the ballot. If people didn't want him on the ballot, they shouldn't have signed to get him on the ballot. Now that he's on the ballot, it went through a primary. He got his butt kicked in the primary. That's how it works. So why are you getting up here rallying against Democrats because Cuomo was on the ballot? You sound like a fool that you are. You a plumb fool, dude. And the fact that Mandami won and kicked his butt came from zero to the hero. It shows you that yes, people change. And just because someone else with a D next to their name may have criticized Mandami, so what? That's the problem with the Republican Party, because we don't see enough Republicans criticizing people with R's next to their name. So what that he's being criticized? But guess what? The people of New York will decide. The people of New York will kick this corrupt Eric Adams out of office and put a Mandami in office. Don't sit here and tell me Democrats are not progressives. I will refuse to even consider that topic, because I am a Democrat and I am a progressive. And yes, Moo, there are things that we absolutely disagree with. There's things that we absolutely agree with. I think rent freezes, I think that's amazing. I think things that Mandami wants to do is great for the city of New York. Nobody will argue that point. It's about the people. And I'm sick of people who don't call themselves Democrats to always keep Democrats in their daggum mouth. Stop talking about Democrats if you ain't a Democrat. Stop saying that's why y'all lost. Because when you say that's why y'all lost, that tells me you are my enemy. I'm sorry, there's no coming together here. You're either with me or you're against me. And Moo, you have already stated you are against me and anyone else who thinks like me. So bring it. You are worse than MAGA, Moo. Because you are MAGA, Moo. I'm sick of it. Don't sit here and say that's why y'all lost. You sound worse than a MAGA. That's why y'all lost. I'm a progressive, but that's why y'all lost. A progressive and a Democrat In this political climate, Moo, they're one and the same. Do we have Democrats out there that need to be more progressive? 100%. 100%. Do I want to see ranked choice voting? 100%. Because I'm all for getting rid of this two-party system. I'm all for it. But it is so stupid. It is so stupid to continue the infighting when we are at a vile threat in our nation right now. What are you proving? What are you accomplishing, Moo? By getting up here saying, I'm coming after Mishi. I'm coming after Val, blah, 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 Val. I'm coming after Jim. What is that accomplishing, brother? I'm tired of his antics. And I don't care what other mutual that I have that agrees with him. I'm going to draw the line in the sand. If you want to come after me for what I'm saying about Moo, you can kick rocks too with your shoes off. Just go ahead and kick those rocks.
Nutty, it bothers me, but why go after Kamala Harris and Hakeem Jeffries? Like, what is it about them two? And that's what I just, when he...
Are you ready for the truth? Are you ready for the truth? I don't think you're ready for the truth. You asked me a very specific question, and I'm going to just tell the truth, and I'm going to shame the devil. And I'm glad you're sitting down. So you ready for my answer? The answer is they're black. Yeah, I said it, Moo. They're black. That's why you hate them so much. They are black. They're black. They're smart, and you are threatened by them because you can't even be as smart as them in your sleep. And I love what Takesha said. When are we going to see your name on the ballot since you can get up here and spew your little hot air? When are we going to see your name on the ballot? Put your name on the ballot. You keep saying we when it came to the No Kings. Takesha said it best. What did you do? You didn't even pass out no water.
Would it be that he thinks that... Do you think my blackness also might be an issue, Nutty? I mean,
I think it's everybody's blackness.
Oh.
Maybe for the exception of one or two people.
Now that hurt.
And they better watch out because they may think that they're friends with Moo, but he'll stab them in the back too. Because let them say one thing that's in disagreement with Moo, then Moo's gonna come after them.
Moo, you have any other targets outside of people of color, Moo, that we could perhaps, because I'd hate to think this is what it turned into, because I didn't want to go into the racism and stuff like that.
Zeus, what else is it? What else is it? Tell me, sir.
I can't.
What else is it? Because listen, this is the time that I want to be wrong. I absolutely want to be wrong when it comes to race, because I would like to believe that we as a people in 2025 have really gained some progress when it comes to race and culture in the United States of America. I would love to believe that. But we live in this skin on a daily basis. We live in it on a daily basis. So we see what's going on. We feel what's going on because we live in this skin on a daily basis.
Oh my, this is deep. Good morning, Dan. You requested while Nutty was talking. I'm assuming you wanted to talk to Nutty. Is that what this is about?
By the way, between Takesha and Nutty, I had to, I had to pull over because fired up, man. And you want to know something? I 110% agree with what Nutty's saying. What are the things that are you guys used Kamala, you used Hakeem.
Yeah.
The names, right?
Yeah.
Barack Obama, right? So people said the same thing about, and that's my best example that I could give, right? Because it's the most popular one. Barack Obama. I can't tell you how many people, and by the way, I'm white, right? So white people will say things to white people differently than they'll say it to black people. I mean, that's just, those are facts.
Yeah,
right?
I know it.
And I can't tell you how many quote unquote progressives, when Barack Obama was running, he's not going to win. Da 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 da. His name's Barack Hussein Obama. Da, da, da. I was like, guys, are you listening to the man's words? Are you listening to the fact that, number one, he's a good orator. Number two, he has passion. Number three, people listen to him. They, and eventually Barack, right, and Obama were not synonymous with black. We're not synonymous with white. We're not synonymous with the racism conversation. Why? Because he was intelligent. He knew he had an actual plan.
Yeah.
And he did care about this country.
Yeah.
And that's what matters. Not somebody's name, not the color of their skin, none of that.
Yes.
And so I'm in 110% agreement. And you guys just fired me up, and I had to come up for a second just to say that it is demoralizing, but we got to stay fired up.
Thank you.
We got to stay fired up.
Thank you.
We got to keep fighting the fight.
Thank you, W Dance. Thank you, brother. And the chat said we got it wrong. What was that, Nutty?
So no, in closing, and thank you, Dance. But in closing, I just want to say this: if we do not come together on the left, because obviously Moo has an issue with the D and the progressives, he has an issue with that. But if we don't come together on the left, he's correct. We're never going to win another election.
Bingo.
Absolutely.
We're never going to win. But listen, I love this country more than I love a party. You don't hear me saying I'm going to come after people who only call themselves progressives. You don't hear me saying that. But you hear Moo saying that he's coming after Democrats. He's acting as though Democrats are not progressives. Now, there are some Democrats that are more progressive than the establishment.
Yeah.
And does the establishment need to change? We can all agree. None of us disagree with what he said there. We don't disagree with it.
Bingo.
But Dan, Zeus, I'm getting out of here.
All right.
And my last message to Moo: kick rocks with your shoes off.
All right. All right. W Nutty. W Dance. All right, Dance.
I agree. You can kick me down.
All right.
I agree. 100%. Kick rocks, Moo. Kick rocks. You got it.
All right, W Dance. All right. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to try to get through as many panelists as I can. Please bear with me, All right, but we got to let the people hear this feedback. Hi, Val. How are you doing? I'm sorry to bring you into this, but you know what's going on, don't you?
Oh, I was drug in, apparently. So.
Oh, yeah. And so, is there anything you would like to say? And by the way, welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah, I was drug in, apparently. Mood. There's people that say they're going to get off the app and do the right thing and maybe learn a little bit more, sir. You should have stayed the hell off the app. Okay? First off, don't confuse progression with expedience. Okay? You're all about expedience, and things should happen now. Truth of the matter is, Moo, is progression takes time. Whether any of us like it or not. It's just the fact of life, okay? Progression takes time. And when we're in an era where we've actually went backwards in time as far as progression, it is not going to be expedient. People like you that come up here with the message of progression at no cost, at any cost, is why we lost. You are the message we need to tamp down. You can't, just like the right is so far right now, that they're actually doing damage to the American people, the exact same thing would happen if we go too far left. Okay? That is the reality of the situation. Now, people like you that want to come up here and just threaten people, say, this is why we lost, this is what we do. You're the people that need to go away. But the fact is this, Moo, I know you represent about 1% of this nation. Okay? So therefore, I'm going to tell you how I really feel about it. You do not matter to me and my mission. That's the reality of the situation, Moo. And it's convenient for you to come up here and attack people that you can clearly see aren't here. But now I'm here, Moo.
Wow. Do you think, Val, the election in New York? I think what I was hearing is that was all because of Moo, and you had and folks like you and I, we had nothing to do with it.
That is untrue.
Oh,
The
I thought that's what it
the
was.
choices were the reason for what happens. You have a crooked mayor.
Mm-hmm.
You have what has been accused of, and running. You know what I'm saying? Running against a person who's been accused of all kinds of devious and kind of ugly things, right?
Yeah.
And then you have a guy that is progressive, that is looking to bring some new ideas and some new steam. Moo, that had zero to do with you. That was everything about choice. Those were the choices put forward to the people, and the people there are choosing progression, which will be good for New York and how things get started, Moo. It's the same reason even down in Texas, Moo, we put progressives into the school board seats.
Oh.
Okay? Moo, you might want to look that up. Moo, do you think you had anything to do with that?
I'm pretty sure he did, Val. Come on. All right, I was joking. But you get what I'm saying. W Val, ladies and gentlemen, W Val. And I would also argue that it's not just, what we're doing on this platform. Honestly, it's entertaining, right? We do what we do, but there's so much information and knowledge that is also being shared out that I would argue, in a way, it's helping uplift folks all over the country. And to say that we're not doing our job and doing what we can in the positions we're in, it's, to me, it's disingenuous. I was extremely sad. I'm sad to hear that within the party that I vote alongside, there are folks within it that seem to minimize. They think minimizing my contributions is the path forward. That's unacceptable on so
Right.
many levels. It's unacceptable.
You're exactly right. But Moo's biggest issue, and people like Moo's biggest issue is Moo just like a far right wing Republican? It's I, and not we.
You speak French? W Val. That was an inside joke. Okay, wow. Well, listen, Val. Listen, you've laid it down like a carpenter this morning. All right, bro. We're gonna try to get some more folks up here with it before I get up out of here. I might stay a little later today because this is serious business we got to get through. But I want to hear from as many people as I can. And again, I hope Moo is in the comment section because if he can dish it, he should be able to take it. Right?
Exactly.
Bingo.
You know what I'm saying? If you can dish it without all the people here involved, that's one thing, But it's you know what? Just like anything else in Zeus's life, the people will show up.
Bingo, and make the decision themselves. I don't tell people how to think and feel. I'm like, you heard what I heard. It's up to you to make the right choice, right? So
Exactly.
W Val, thank you, brother. All right, we're moving along, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we got a nice packed house, ladies and gentlemen. All right. The crowd favorite Q Dog is up here. Oh my gosh. Welcome to the show, brother. How was your weekend?
Oh, not too bad, brother.
All right.
My daughter got another AAU championship this weekend, 2 in a row. So we doing some good things over here.
Amen. See, that's what and I just appreciate it that you're a family man and you're being an example out here to a lot of these folks, especially the blagger men out there, because they couldn't do what you're doing. And I just want to thank you for doing that. But we don't got much time, brother. What do you got to say? Because I know you sat there, you've witnessed this, and this isn't the first time this happened on the platform. But what are your thoughts?
I'm just so confused about. Oh my God, I can't
Yeah.
I can't even say his name. But Moo, a year ago, you were all on our side with every topic that we talked about, and I'm just trying to figure out why is it that everyone that comes up here on a negative fashion, bringing a negative tone, is reporting live from a dungeon office. Help me understand that. Him, Tiny Tank Top Tim, and they come up here with all this aggression, but never see them on live. Like I've seen you live, and I've called you on your on the phone, offline, Zeus, and you in the streets, not only the TikTok streets, but the real streets
He knows
out
it.
there with the protests or whatnot.
Yeah.
When do we ever see Moo reporting from the streets,
The boots on the ground. Yeah.
the real boots on the ground? You come up here, you have a real good talk game, but we don't see no actual work. When are we going to see that actual work? It's easy to come up on TikTok and spew your antics and how you feel and this and that and the other and your anger, just
Yeah.
like Janae and all these other MAGA and blaggers that come up here and try to denounce you and call you all kinds of names, like alter ego in the comments and whatnot. He can't even come up on live. I don't think I've ever seen him come up on live. But you stay in the comments, you talk about this and talk about that in a negative fashion, but we don't never see you come up on live.
Yeah.
We never see you in the streets.
Never.
When are we going to see that?
Show us how you're creating change in the communities that you serve, and I'll apologize if you could, because I have a lot of you have a lot of critics, Q Dog. I have a lot of critics, and you just can't help but wonder why are these people so upset with us when all we're trying to do is save the country.
Well, like I said, Nutty said it best. And from a black man to another black man, anytime you come up here and you say the things that you say,
Yeah.
but you have people in the chat that are real passive, so to speak. Real passive when it comes to anybody else. But when it's a black person that come up, you ready to hit fire.
I know that ain't true. I know that ain't true.
You're doing the same thing that Trump does.
Oh.
Just like he going off on CNN reporters or whatnot.
Yeah.
But when he's introduced with the question about his buddy Musk, or let's talk about Russia and Putin. Oh well, hey, they're good people. It's just we're just having a disagreement. Where's the same energy at? Give the same energy every time.
Yeah.
And Moo, you gotta quit. You gotta quit straggling that fence. You straggle that political fence better than any person in gymnastics. And that's real talk.
Amen.
You're gonna be on either one side or the other. You can't be in between and sound like MAGA. Help me understand that.
Help us. That's it.
Please help me understand.
Stop bashing Kamala Harris and because I don't know about you, Q Dog, but when they start talking about Kamala Harris, how does that sit with you? Because it's like they want this woman to do everything right, don't they?
They have her in their mouth more than they have Hillary Clinton.
That's crazy.
And they talked about Hillary Clinton on a fascist note,
Yeah.
Because she's a woman. But y'all can't seem. It just seems Nutty hit it on the nail. If you are black or affiliated with black, we coming after you. He came out of his mouth. See, my grandmama used to say, if it quacks like a duck, it walks like a duck, it's a darn duck. And he comes out in these TikTok streets. When are you going to start bashing? What's his name? The vice president?
JD.
Jade. Oh yeah, him.
Bash him. Bash JD.
You ain't said nothing about him. We ain't heard nothing.
Ain't that something? Kamala had the most tie-breaking votes in the Senate. She did. What do you got to say about that? She's a terrible person. She's did a terrible interview on CBS. I mean,
Terrible interview. You ain't even
I'm
heard
done.
from JD Vance.
I'm done.
Since that whole blow up in the office when they tried to get real gangster with Zelensky.
Yeah, Zelensky. Yeah. Isn't this
Zelensky.
something?
Yeah, they both tried to get real gangster, get up in his face and this and that. You ain't heard nothing from him.
Sick. We caught him. We caught him today. 4K. Moo, you got to clean this up, sir, because it's looking real bad to Big Zeus. And I try to be as fair. All right, Q Dog. I got to move it on, brother. All right.
Definitely.
All
Appreciate you, Dan. Appreciate you, sir. I don't come up here for the coin. I come up here for the truth. And you already know what it is. Y'all know your time is coming and it's tick-tock, tick-tock. Give me a few ticks. Just give me a few ticks. That's all I'm asking.
All right, WQ Dog. Ooh, yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right,
Salute to you, brother.
Salute to you. We're cooking and booking this morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are cooking and booking. All right. I'm going to try to get through a few more. We're going to do this for about 20 more minutes, ladies and gentlemen. So please just bear with me because I do appreciate all the voices this morning. This is an interesting point. Good morning, brother Attacking. How are you doing? How was your weekend?
It was good. Made videos of stupid people like always.
on what account?
On every account.
You'll see what I mean. Follow me on Attacking account number 60. All right, because it's different than
7,372.
Yeah.
Let me funnel my inner nutty.
Okay.
I run.
I know. Okay.
I run.
Fair enough.
So anyway, Moo and I had a little thing too. I had a gentleman who works with Chuck Schumer in his entity.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's giving us information. And then Moo came up, and instead of absorbing what he was saying, he started to attack the guy.
Oh.
And so instead of just using it as a learning session, we have somebody who's in the know, giving us information about a process and this, that, and the other thing. Instead of using it as a learning tool, he started to attack, well, why didn't you do this and why didn't you do that? Now, the thing is this. You know how some people are too smart for themselves and they just don't have any interpersonal skills?
Yes.
That's how I look at it with Moo.
Got it.
Moo doesn't have the delivery aspect of presenting something without sounding angry or obnoxious or whatever it might be, whatever Diava said.
Yeah, pompous. She used the word pompous. Yeah, that's a clean word to do, but I loved it.
He doesn't have that skills. He's a smart guy, might have some really good ideas, but he doesn't have the delivery. UI, other people. Kind of like if you take President Obama and you listen to how he's able to deliver things very articulate, lays everything out, and we're able to absorb it, we understand it, and we like it.
Yeah.
But just think if Obama had the delivery skills of Trump. Where the heck would we be?
Oh.
We wouldn't understand a damn thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, correct.
So I look at it that same way. Now, I find him to be rude and obnoxious sometimes. I've only had a few interactions, but I think he's too smart for himself. And again, like Val says, you're not going to get things fixed yesterday that you want done. It's going to take time, progression. You just can't fix it. And being an independent, why do they always want to come in at the ninth inning?
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
They want to put an independent as president. Why don't they start from the ground floor? Start from the ground floor at your local government. Work your way up. Get a group of people together. Nurture them. Fertilize them to come up and to be a senator and a representative and then the president. Don't just throw somebody in at the last minute.
Yeah.
and think, well, you don't give them a chance. Well, we won't give them a chance because we don't know them. They don't have any background. Jill Stein is one of the people. That one, the Russian chick that always comes in, right? Jill Stein, that's her name, Jill Stein, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I think he's too smart for his good, and to me, I liked Bernie. Bernie was an angry person, in my opinion, when he was delivering things, and that's why I wouldn't vote for him. I felt that he was always angry when he was talking. And Moo is the same thing. He's always angry when he's talking. Always angry.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And by the way, I had to pick myself up off the floor.
Oh.
When you made a comment. I have never heard you drop any information about a new record coming out ever. That's the first time I heard
Oh,
you
this
today.
1600 Pennsylvania Ave. Yeah.
I was sitting in my chair and I fell right flat. I just leaned back and I fell on the floor going, holy shit. Holy darn. See? Yeah. I've never heard you drop info about a new record, man.
Well, sometimes I mentioned it, and see, heaven knows W, heaven. 1600 Pennsylvania Ave. What I'm going to do, attacking with this project, is we're integrating politics and hip hop in a way that's going to be very, very digestible. All right, and this is what's needed. All right, because I've had people, they come to me and they send me DM. Oh, I don't like you anymore. All you do is talk politics, Zeus. You used to make music. When are you going to get back to that? So I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and silence the critics. W Zeus. So it's coming.
Like I said, I've never heard you drop anything before, out to the audience, and I'm going, gosh darn, it's about time.
Yeah.
But anyway, let me drop.
All right.
I just think he's too smart for his own good and needs to have a better delivery platform.
Right. Oh,
That's
there you
all.
go. WW attacking. Thank you. Yes, I agree, Jim. Politics touches every place. Okay, all righty. Then who do we have next, ladies and gentlemen? All right, we're cooking and booking this morning, ladies and gentlemen. So we're gonna try to get as far as we can. Hopefully, let's see. Who do we got, ladies and gentlemen? Oh my gosh, we have so many amazing and wonderful people. I tried to get Santana up here, but I guess Santana is busy. But come on up here, Shay.
Hey.
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 How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
All right.
Doing good. I'm happy about your song. It's going to be awesome.
Well, it's not a song. It's an album.
Right.
It's an album.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. That's amazing, huh? That's awesome.
Yeah. You know what you all are making me... You know what you all are making me want to do real quickly if you got a couple of seconds, all right? Let's see. There you go. There's the album cover right there. You see that?
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
Look at that.
Yeah. You're gonna we're gonna there's so many songs on there. There's Left a Red State. We're gonna cover that because I came from Idaho, so we're gonna cover that. We're gonna cover People's House. We're gonna cover campaign, inauguration, executive orders, pick a bill. I mean, you name it, we're gonna do it. All right, and it's so many records on there. And I said they're gonna be totally shocked. The producer that's working on it, he said they're gonna be totally shocked when they hear this. So yes, all right now.
I can't wait.
Yes.
No, because I'll be buying it. That's
all right, but
all right. So let's get back on task here, and there's so much to talk about. And here's the problem I have with Moo. And there's a lot of problems I have with people like Moo, right?
Yeah.
He in that mentality is the reason we lost. And I've often had to explain to a lot of people think there was this rise of belief in MAGA. No, there wasn't, right?
Yeah.
Yes, they had a messaging system about trans people, about education, about, all these things in the border, right? That Biden, I wish, had conquered that more than he could have. But what he did is he got things done, and he wasn't a big, run at the mouth guy. And when you're dealing with hucksters like Trump, then you kind of need to battle on battle. But that's the only criticism I can hold on Biden, because he's a good man. Because I didn't see any Republicans attending the funeral of the two Democrats in Minnesota that were unalived by an extremist. So that shows me who they are. So when I sit here, right, and I I hear attacks on people like Val and Jim and Misha, who have vital voices on our side, right?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it comes across as this little small man that wants attention because everybody else seems to be more popular than him. And so then he wants to come in and take them down because he's not as well liked. That's how it comes off. It comes off very Napoleon to me.
Yeah.
Right? If you know your historical figures in life, it comes off very Napoleon. I'm a small man, will make a lot of noise, but then I'm gonna basically lose at the end of the day, right?
Bingo.
And I find it sickening because that is the problem. Listen, you have to know your history. Progress is slow. We don't like that progress is slow, but look how long it took to end slavery. Then it took to get them voting rights in the South.
Yeah.
Look how long it took women to get the voting rights. In fact, black men have voting rights more before women did. You know, there's a lot of stuff we can go back and forth on, right?
Yep.
Progress is slow. It just is. We haven't had a woman president. I think we will one day, but it's slow. It takes a lot of time. And listen, everybody's already said what I wanted to say about this, but this is exactly the mentality of why we lost. And why would AIPAC back Mandami? He's a Muslim. I mean, your point there about he's not backed by AIPAC, well, duh. It's a Jewish political pack.
Yeah.
Why would they back Mandami? I mean, your point? Hello? Question mark? Like, I sit here and go, you just want to be angry. And you can just stay off the app or do your own lives and spew your nonsense. But this is fodder for the right. This is all this is. Because how many times have they been up here? Your guys' approval ratings are low. You guys are fighting amongst yourself. You guys don't have any leadership. You guys don't have anyone leading your party.
But meanwhile, we're
just like them.
But meanwhile, aren't we winning in a lot of special elections though?
100%.
W. Shay. I mean, so I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
Right. I don't buy it either. Yeah, W. Zeus. He's 100% correct. We're winning in all these special elections. You see it all the time. And let me tell you, when this BBB goes through, this big, beautiful nonsense bill, it's going to help us in the midterms. But the problem is you're so mad at the Democratic Party that we got fascism. How did you win by being mad at the establishment Democratic Party? How did we win with this?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing this on where we may not be able to have the chance to vote again. So you over here in New York's business, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we're talking about the country's rights. We're talking about women's rights. We're talking about trans in the military losing their entire benefits of 20 years in the military. We're talking about so many things right now. We're talking about unvaccinated children and children are going to be dying young. Bring up Dr. Keisha. We're talking about everything. And you over here, the establishment Democratic Party. What in the world are you doing? What are you doing? It's nonsense. We got a lot more problems in the establishment Democratic Party. And if we don't get together, then we have to fight against what just happened, this Project 2025.
Bingo.
We got to fight against that.
Amen.
Man. We'll get our stuff together at some point, but until we take control of the House and the all three branches, we can't do what you want to do, Moo. It's just reality at the end of the day. And I'm sorry, 100% free on everything will not work. It does not work, and it cripples industries and takes away people that want to buy housing and want to put in rent and do these things. It does not work in our economy, and nobody wants to pay for all that.
Yep.
Do we need things cheaper? Yes. We need college education to come down. We need better health care. We need all these things. But this free stuff, listen, I'm all for a progressive to win the New York mayoral race, but let's have absolute policies that we know can be implemented. Let's not live in la-la land.
Amen.
Okay.
Amen. Tell them, Shay.
That's just the reality of it all, my friend. And I
All right.
just want to say, listen, Moo, nobody needs you over here attacking people that fight for women's rights, people's rights, gay rights
Amen.
every single day. And so miss me with you attacking our wonderful voices on this app that do this work every day and stand up for people, marginalized communities every day.
Amen. Amen. W.
Love you, Jim. Love you, Misha. You guys are awesome.
Yeah. We're not going to take the debate and divide ourselves, but we
No,
will address
100%
this. And
not.
so I didn't want to make it a show all about Moo. It's really not about Moo. It's more about the spirit of Moo that we're addressing. This energy is out here, and so what we're doing is we're addressing it, so it's never got to be brought up again. I mean, if it does get brought up again, do it at your own risk. W. Shay.
All right, love you, my friend. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
All right, you too. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, dun. Look who we have, the beautiful Jim of a Jewel. All right, well. How are you doing? Welcome.
Hey guys,
Hello.
I am doing great. Coming off of my birthday weekend with my entire family.
Wow.
And I was in Bodega Bay, celebrating the beautiful coast of California.
Hey, I knew it.
Eating oysters and
did you put any of the sauce on the oysters? What kind of sauce?
I did. I had them both ways. I did them raw and I did them
Grilled?
cooked, and they were fabulous. Oh my god, they were fabulous.
Ooh, the grilled oysters and actually the raw oysters out here. These are some
fabulous.
of the wow. Jim, because what she's doing is highlighting some of the most amazing things about California. A lot of people don't know that we have really good oysters out here. I'm so glad you brought that up. Wow.
I've been going to Bodega since I was 7, and it was one of the most spectacular weekends ever. The bay was far out. We got there at 7 in the morning. The bay was way out. People were actually walking on the bay that's normally filled with water, clamming, just clamming, beautiful amounts of clams. It was like we were at the Tides restaurant. If you've never been to the Tides.
I've never been to the
It was
Tides.
like breakfast and a show. We had a beautiful steak breakfast, and then we drove up the coast all the way through Jenner, went to Goat Rock Beach. Wow. It was beautiful. It was no jacket. The weather was so spectacular, no jackets. And then we went, we did a little shopping, and then of course you have to come back to the Tides at the end of your day to get chocolate mousse, the best chocolate mousse on the planet. And then we drove back to Sacramento, where I was met with a surprise party. So I came home to a surprise party, and even my baby, my youngest son, came home.
Wow.
And with his new wife.
Wow.
And so I had like a spectacular weekend. So I know Val mentioned that you were looking for me on Friday.
Because what I was going to ask is, could we celebrate your birthday in the kingdom if you got a little time?
Absolutely.
Oh.
I do want to address what was just mentioned really quick.
Oh yeah, we still got some time. Yes, please.
I've been away from this. I've taken a break. As you well know, I'm taking care of my mom also, and I'm not going to go too deep, but I don't let people who have to literally denigrate others on this app affect me anymore. This is an app that is supposed to be about information sharing for the betterment of our society, to protect civil rights and human rights and women's rights and educational rights and the belief in science and math. And if anyone on this app is deflecting from that, they are the problem. So if anyone's listening to people like Moo, who, by the way, I didn't even know had such a horrible issue. I mean, he must think about me 24/7 because it keeps coming up in my DMs how Moo's talking about me. Wow. Moo is just a sour cow serving sour milk every day. So, Moo, if you're listening, you can just be in your horrible misery, just like the MAGA community who's harming all of the people. And I hope you are hearing this, because you are never a thought in my world. But since you want to keep bringing my name into your mouth, I hope that everything you touch curdles from here on out, just like the sour milk you're spewing on this app, because you are part of the problem. You are the dejected group of people who failed to understand that you are handing MAGA all of the wins. You are literally part of the problem. You want to make a difference in your society, you want change to occur, you have to help lift people up, not tear them down. And you miss that part of civics, my friend. So that's the last thing I'll ever speak on Moo, the horrible curdled cow serving sour milk.
Wow, Jim. I should get you, honestly, Jim. I need to get you on the album. I mean, because the way that you could just dive right into somebody's behind their backside like that, it's incredible, Jim.
Tell me when and where.
Wow.
I'm in Cali with you.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, so you're saying we just need to hit the studio up together. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I might have to take you up on that offer because this is what you're doing is seriously diabolical. And I know Moo, he heard what you said, and it's going to roll around upstairs because when you talk, that's what happens. All right. So again, ladies and gentlemen, Jim. Oh my gosh, yes. A lot of people, they've been saying they've missed you in my comments section. Every now and then I glance and they say, oh, we miss Jim. Where is she at? So it's definitely an honor to have you back here. And, you came at the right time because this is about the time I got to close up the shop.
Perfect.
And I hear that we missed your birthday. I got Val the other day and I said, well, maybe we'll get Jim because I know you were out here. And then I know now you're in California eating oysters. I don't know if we can top that over here, but we can try. We can try. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be singing happy birthday to Jim just now. All right. So let's go ahead. And you know what we do? Get ready to show her a lot of love. All right. Because those oysters, they're not cheap. All right.
I heard it was somebody's birthday.
Let's go.
I heard it was somebody's birthday. Yeah. PJ Panda birthday song. Yeah. Yeah. Today is your birthday.
Hey.
We gon' sing it out. Today is your birthday. I know you're so proud.
Let's go.
We gon' turn out.
Hey. You know what we got to do. Happy birthday. Wow, thank you, Jim, for all that you do. Wow. Let's go. Let's go.
Like a kiss.
Whoop, whoop.
Throw a party, everybody bring it gifts.
Turn up.
Got a new outfit. It's lit.
And it's lit. Oh, look at that mug. What an amazing mug.
It's coming in.
Hey.
My parents raised my allowance.
Hey.
I'm jumping around.
Hey.
Yeah, up and down.
Yes.
Hey, happy birthday.
Hey.
We singing now.
Yeah.
Today is your birthday. We gon' say it loud. Today is your birthday. I know you're so proud. Today is your birthday. We gon' turn out.
Look at all the love. Look at all of it.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Wow, look at all of this love. You have so many people out here that love you. I can't believe it. Oh my gosh, but you're right.
Happy birthday to you.
Turn up, turn up. Nobody does birthdays like we in the kingdom, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody. Oh, W. Wow, you got the airplanes taking off like that.
Today is your birthday. We gon' say it loud. Today is your birthday. I know you're so proud.
Hey.
Today is your birthday. We gon' turn out. About to throw a party, get it lit and wild out. Cut the cake and we gon' sing.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Wow. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Happy birthday, Jim. Seriously.
Happy birthday to you.
Let's go. Nobody cooks and books like Jim. Well, besides Zeus, all right? But Jim, you're really up there. You're doing a great job. All right, looking beautiful as always. Wow. I mean, I've never... It's what makes shows like this totally incredible and awesome, all right? Because it's really about building community, ladies and gentlemen, all right? So, yeah, again, happy birthday, Jim. Thank you. Wow.
Wow. I have nothing but gratitude for those of you who have reached out to me, and many of you have. I love you so much. I just have one favor to ask. If there's someone in your life that you are having conflict with, if there is an elderly person in your life who you know is sick, get off the sap and spend time. Spend quality time with those people, because life is too short, and what we're witnessing in this country, we may not have a lot of people in our lives in a year or 3 years from now. So make sure that you're taking time to say, I love you, I'm sorry, and just spend time. That's what I ask of you. And if you have time to do something positive for someone, there is a creator on this app who donated a grove of trees on behalf of my sister recently, named Wandering Pizza. And I thought that was one of the greatest gifts ever. So I want to make sure that I'm giving back to people. Plant a tree, help a neighbor, ask somebody for coffee, make a phone call, send a text message if you have nothing else to give, just saying, I'm thinking of you, I love you, and let people know where they are in your life. That would be the greatest gift of all. And believe in science. I cannot tell you enough that we have gotten so far away from believing in science that we are harming our own communities. The doctors on this app, the people who are keeping it straight about the measles and about vaccines, you need to follow them. You need to listen, because that is going to help our next generation. We live longer today because of medical science. So that's my only little thing I want to say, because I think we've gotten so far away into the politics of things that we've forgotten to care about one another. And the truth is every day that I'm on this app or I'm talking to people in my real life, I am fighting for the next generation, not for me. I just turned 54. My life's half over. We have to be in reality that what we're fighting for today is the next generation and the children after that to have clean air and clean water, so that they have the ability to choose to be astronauts or chefs, to be rappers or housewives. Whatever they want, they get to choose, and nobody else gets to choose for them. Not based on the color of their skin, but on the content of their character. Where have we heard that before? To be fighting. Following the leaders that literally led this country on the right path. I love you, Zeus. I love you guys. Every single one of you who have reached out to me today and other days. I love you. I thank you. You don't even know how much that meant to me.
Well, we love you, and as always, thank you for dropping so much knowledge. All right, we can't do this. This is a group effort, and again, thank you so much, Jim. Seriously, another powerful show. Look at this. I mean, you want it. Let's give her a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. One more. Thank you, Jim. Heaven said he wants oysters.
Oh, they're so good. Come to California. Oysters are fabulous here. You can get them all along the coast. And the crabbing is fantastic, too. I forgot to mention the crab. I want to say this because I was in a live, I think it was with Val and Princess the other day, and a gentleman, an older gentleman, claimed to not see color. Mm-hmm. If you live in a world that doesn't see color, you are part of the problem. If you live in a world that doesn't understand the beauty and the diversity of colors and culture and music and food, you've lost your way.
Bingo.
So see colors, find beauty, find joy, and share it with everyone you know. I love you all. Thank you.
All right. W Jim, ladies and gentlemen. No lies detected. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, looking at the time, Big Zeus does have to run. I want to give you all a huge round of applause. I wish I could sit here and just talk for hours, because you all are seriously some of the most incredible people I've ever had the opportunity to interact with in my entire life. So W to all of you in the chat. Before I get out of here, I got to give a special thank you to all of the subscribers, gifters, moderators, and panelists. Because without you, we wouldn't be able to build such an incredible and powerful community amongst many others out there. But this is what it takes, I believe, to save our great democracy and our great country. But along those lines, I also got to give one last round of booze and shame. And these booze and shame, they go out to those who have, normally I say, well, actually, they're Zeus haters, all right? While I'm totally aware of MAGA being Zeus haters, because they're honest about it. They are upfront and honest about their hatred towards Zeus and their hatred towards themselves and their hatred towards the country. The Zeus haters out there would be, in my opinion, those who possess the spirit of Mu. While I know Mu might be a very genuinely nice person, it's the delivery. It comes across as a Zeus hater. And you know what? Today, you kind of hijacked my show, bro, by attacking Democrats who helped get the guy you like in. Get him elected. We help you elect him, and then you turn around and attack us. That's not what George Washington fought for. As a matter of fact, it's the exact opposite. So I'm going to give this last round of booze and shame to all the Zeus haters. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. somebody said they want to hear a little bit of the album, so I'll play a little bit of the State of the Union. We'll do it about a minute, and then you'll kind of see what's going on, and then we'll move on and get up out of here.
My fellow Americans, members of Congress, honored guests, and citizens of this boundless republic. Tonight I stand before you not merely as your president, but as a servant of a dream, forged in the fires of our past and illuminated by the boundless possibilities of our future. Yeah. You see, 2.5 centuries ago, George Washington, our first sentinel, warned us to cherish the sacred fire of liberty and to guard against division. You see, he saw a nation, not a loose confederation of rival factions, but a single tapestry woven from many threads. And today, we hover on the edge of a new frontier where quantum networks hum beneath our cities and starships pierce the heavens. We must heed this call anew. Our unity is not a relic of the past. It is the fusion core powering our ascent. Yeah, and see, Abraham Lincoln, in an hour of unimaginable fracture, taught us that a house divided against itself cannot stand.
It really can.
Yeah. See, he envisioned a government of the people, by the people, for the people, enduring beyond the clash of steel. Now in 2025, as artificial minds augment our own and climate engines reshape our skies, we face no less a test. Will we let algorithms amplify our discord? Or will we bind ourselves once more with the mystic cords of memory, stretching from every server farm to every solar dome, to forge a union not just preserved, but perfected? And you see, Franklin Roosevelt met a nation gripped by fear and declared that the only thing we had to dread was fear itself.
True.
He rallied us to wield our collective strength against economic despair, building a new deal for a new day. Today we confront not just terrestrial storms, but the tempest of a warming world and the disruption of a digital age. And you see, our response must be bold, a galactic new deal, green grids spanning continents, orbital habitats for the displaced, and a universe promise that no American from the hydroponic farmer to the asteroid miner is left behind. And Dwight D. Eisenhower, a soldier of peace, cautioned us against the unchecked might of war machines while championing the arteries of progress, our highways and schools. Yeah, now as drones deliver our goods and fusion reactors light our nights, we must balance innovation and vigilance. Our strength lies not in arsenals alone, but in the neural highway of education, connecting every child to the vast expanse of human knowledge, from quantum physics to the ethics of creation itself. And John F. Kennedy summoned us to the moon, not because it was easy, but because it was hard, because the challenge was measured.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you got a dose of 1600 Pennsylvania, all right? And now we are officially out of here, all right? So take care, ladies and gentlemen, and enjoy the rest of your morning. Oh, somebody said they wanted to do Drill Baby Drill. Fine, we'll do it. We'll do Drill Baby Drill, and then we're out of here.
Because you know she's gonna ban fracking, right? 100%. Yeah, she's against fracking, against all this stuff.
We're doing some Drill Baby Drill, ladies and gentlemen, and then we'll get about here. Tiffany, for the people, I see you.
Fracking very much. Look,
They always go back to W-Dance, thank you.
They always go back. She can't help it. She's a radical left Marxist. She can't help it.
Here we go.
But we're going to end that, and we will frack, 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 and drill, baby, drill.
Right, Ange? Ange is a radical. JTA.
We're going to be for these guys. We're going to drill. We're going to take out so much money. We're going to pay down our debt.
Here he goes.
We're going to lower your taxes.
Oh, you're extra radical.
Insane asylums. You know, they go crazy when I say.
You say what?
The late great Hannibal Lecter. Drill, baby, drill. We're going to frack, frack. Drill, there's a frack, frack, frack. There's a baby drill.
Hey!
You know she's going to bang.
You know she's going to bang it.
Up in there, she was against fracking, against all the stuff.
Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. What another incredible and great show. We made it through it. Happy Monday. She said, I like fracking very much. Look, they always go back to what they want. They always go back. She can't help it. She's a radical.
She can't help it. But what the hell? And we will fight and drill, baby, drill. We're gonna drill.
You gotta be able to drill.
So deep, we're gonna do for these guys. We're gonna drill.
We're gonna take out so much money. We're gonna pay down our debt. We're gonna lower your taxes.
Deep
insane asylum. Right to the unit.
When I say the late great Hannibal.
Hit it.
Drill, baby, drill. We're gonna fry.
Drill, baby, drill like it's Hannibal Lecter. You gotta be able to do that, seriously. Tell him Kudo. We're gonna drill. Alright, here's my favorite part, right? Here you go.
You know, they go crazy when I say.
When you say what?
The late, great Hannibal Lecter. They say.
Why would you mention Hannibal Lecter? Yeah, why?
We're gonna lower your taxes. Deep insane asylums. You know they go crazy when I say the late great Hannibal. Drill, baby, drill,
It gets me every time, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how. Deep insane asylums. You know they go crazy when I say the late great Hannibal. You like that, Jim? Logan, we got more in the tank for that. Like it's Hannibal Lecter. Drill, baby, drill like it's Hannibal Lecter time. We're gonna lower your taxes. Deep insane asylums, you know. Alright, listen up. You got Tiny Tank Top Tim out there. He doesn't got any drills. He barely has it, or he doesn't have a drill. But what I'm going to do is different. What we're going to do is pay off all your debt. And then we're going to lower those taxes, alright? Because, believe it or not, we got so much liquid gold underneath our feet. And all we got to do is drill, baby, drill to get to it, alright? And then after that, you know what that means. We're going to do a little bit of that fracking action, because I know you like that, alright? I'm going to hell for that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, take care and stay safe out there in those TikTok streets. We are officially out of here.